Welcome to the Jewish Pro-Life Show. I'm Cecily Routman, president and founder of the Jewish Pro-Life Foundation, where we are making the original pro-life religion pro-life again. Welcome, everyone. At the Jewish Pro-Life Foundation, we offer much needed pro-life education to the Jewish community, Jewish-friendly pregnancy care and adoption referrals, and healing after abortion for Jewish women and men who suffer after abortion. And we offer a Jewish pro-life voice in the public square. And the show is an opportunity to enjoy news, enlightenment, and entertainment from our perspective. And we hope to move forward a Jewish pro-life understanding within the Jewish community and let our friends outside of that community know that Judaism is the original pro-life religion. Today, we have a special guest, Rabbi Yosef Chaim, who we met in Florida last year at a Renew America event. So we'll open up the program today with Rabbi Chaim sharing about his background and his understanding of Judaism and abortion in Judaism, and he has some information to share with us. And then I've asked him to please leave time for open discussion afterwards, because this show is only possible and effective because of your participation. We all need to gather together to provide a united Jewish pro-life voice and strengthen one another as we move forward. I am going to pass to Rabbi Chaim, and please, sir, share a little bit about yourself and how you came to be on our show today.
Thank you for having me, everybody. So I came to be on the show to the group by my friend Moshe, who's in the group. So he was the one that connected me with Cecily, which I'm glad he did. So yeah, I'm honored to be here. Any chance we get to spread the message of saving lives, especially Jewish lives, I think we all have a responsibility to try and do what we can in that regard. So yeah, my name's Rabbi Yosef Chaim. I'm one of the rabbis with Torah Judaism International. And this group, I think, has done more than probably any other group in the world as far as helping converts to Judaism. So we help people that are in the process of converting, potentially converting. I provide continuing education for those who have already converted. So we have a lot of resources for people in this situation. So because I deal with a lot of converts, I think actually one of the biggest problems that we have in Judaism today is people not understanding or having a correct understanding of how Halacha functions. So this is one of the first things that I do with my students is I teach them, how this process works. And we split everything up. So we understand what we're looking at and what we're dealing with. So any shiurim you go to, I want people to be able to identify what is coming from Torah and what is coming from anywhere else. Since we believe the Torah was given by God, no other writing should be on the same level. So if we're dealing with a mitzvah, which is a Torah commandment, this is something that God commanded us to either do or not do. A positive commandment is something that you need to do. Honor your mother and father. A negative commandment is something you must not do. Do not commit murder. So we really need to understand that these are laws that we have to obey because these were commanded to us by God. However, these are not the only laws that we have to go by because we also have something called Halacha. This is Jewish law. These are laws that were enacted by the court. We'll call it the Sanhedrin. So the way the Sanhedrin functioned was kind of like in America if the Supreme Court and the Congress were combined. They debated these issues, they voted, and they enacted laws into place. And these laws, these are the halakha. This is what we have to follow. And because they were a court, sort of the way the Supreme Court makes sure that all laws the Congress passes are constitutional, they made sure that they were in line with the Torah mitzvot. And they also dealt with punishments. They enacted they held cases and dished out punishments for people who were convicted. So when we're told that we need to do this or don't do that, we need to understand, is it a Torah commandment? Because nothing is on the same level as Torah. However, a lot of things we have to do or not do is halacha, which is not necessarily a Torah commandment. But why do we need to follow the halacha? Because the Torah tells us to. We have the mitzvah of lo tasor, not to stray to the left or the right, and the rulings of a court. So the Torah is telling us to obey the court. If we're disobeying the court, then we're disobeying the Torah commandment that tells us to listen to them. So which court are we talking about? There's probably three of us rabbis here in this group. We could form a court, a bet din. That does not mean that we can enact law. What the three of us decide to enact has no authority on other people in other communities. So what we can enact is minhagim, customs and traditions. So we can do that in our local communities, but that's not binding on everybody. Halacha is a law that is binding on all of the Jewish people. Why is it binding? Because the Torah said that it was. So this is what we have to understand when we're dealing with Torah commandments, halacha, which is an actual law by the court that was given the authority to enact law, and then local customs and traditions, which is, not binding in the same way that law is. So this has a lot of problems in Judaism, people not understanding this. It's creating a lot of problems. And I blame the rabbis for not teaching this the same way you blame a football team that's losing games. You don't blame the players, you blame the coaches. If the army is losing battles, you don't blame the soldiers, you blame the generals. So because of this misunderstanding, it's being misapplied. And with regards to abortion, it's a very modern problem. I think people are coming up with rulings that they don't have the authority to come up with. For example, I looked up abortion and Judaism or something along those lines in the search bar, and what I came up with was in the 20th century. This is 1967. Now, 1967 we know is not the Sanhedrin, so this is a recent modern rabbi giving an opinion. He wrote that the prohibition against abortion is not the same as the prohibition against murder, and that there is a basis to permit abortion for a nursing mother, a married woman who has committed adultery, or a woman who has been raped. He also noted that there is a basis for abortion when the woman is suffering emotional and not physical anguish. He allowed for abortion if there is a grounded fear that the child will be born with a defect or restrictions. Although he encouraged abortion prior to 40 days of gestation, he allowed it up to 3 months. Okay, he has no authority to issue these things, no more than I have the authority to say, I think there's a basis. If someone doesn't have the money, or it's inconvenient to buy kosher steak, I can tell them to go get double cheeseburgers at McDonald's. I cannot allow things that are prohibited by law, and neither can he. And the most egregious part of this is every example that he made this opinion, which he's saying he ruled that this is allowable, every single basis that he made has been covered in Halacha, and there is no basis for allowing it on any of these grounds that he's making this claim.